Finally, oh my God. I never thought they would quit streaming. I was listening to Ethan and Cecil and Malin, and I guess Frege was on for a while. I said that I would do a follow-up stream that actually has decent audio. I was at the studio today. I shot this great serial killer footage. So I just wanted to get some thoughts down on the debate, the values of Comicsgate debate with Doug and Mike, or totally frustrating. I didn't really want to like dwell on this. It's funny, but Mike and Doug. Well, Doug went on Oz's stream this morning and was immediately talking smack, and I kept thinking, "Oh my God, this is so insufferable." And Berserk was going a little crazy, and I guess I kind of go a little crazy too. I guess I can't understand if I'm a little obsessed with clueless people, but I can't understand if Doug is actually, if he knows exactly what he's doing, or if he's just clueless. I can't figure it out. You guys have to tell me what you think, but I put together a couple of notes. I was going to try to, how do I do this thing so it's actually a full thing? I can't figure out how to do the video. I'm not great with StreamYard, so obviously, let's see here. There it is. Here we go. Play without audio. Here's my serial killer layer from earlier. This it shot a video, but I set it to unlisted because it had totally crappy audio. So I just thought I'd play that in the background and go to my notes here. So they're constantly making this argument that is, and this is another thing that I'm fascinated by. Maybe I'm the only one in Comicsgate that's like interested in the philosophy and the arguments and stuff. Sometimes I get people sniping at me, and I'm curious if there is other people in Comicsgate that are interested in it from sort of philosophical perspective. Maybe I am the only one. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's so simple, it's so easy," which, you know, I think it is very, very easy. It is very simple. Like Comicsgate is about the fans being completely disrespected, them not liking being disrespected. Obviously, people don't necessarily like being disrespected. There's a book that's going on. Yeah, sniping my own stream. What's up, Ned? There's a book going around. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but it's called White Fragility, which a lot of people are getting super triggered by. Well, rightfully so. I mean, if you want to disrespect people, I think, obviously they're going to be triggered. If you want to spit in people's faces, obviously they're going to be triggered. Doug and Mike keep going around and basically spitting in people's faces and keep wondering, like, why is it why are people mad at us? It's all Ethan's fault. Ethan's the one directing his fans at us when Ethan is just simply responding. So, but I think the arguments that they make are pretty funny and seem to be completely self-serving, based in an interesting way. And I think it's fun to point these ways out, because as soon as you have a good argument against people, a lot of times you can shut them down immediately. We were talking about I was talking in DMs to Literature Devil. Literature Devil had brought up something about the grifter thing, how everyone always wants to call everybody a grifter. And there's a great way to reframe the grifter argument that makes the person making that grifter argument look like a total asshole, which I think is useful, because a lot of creators are being called grifters. A lot of people are, well, I guess it's more a thing that's aimed at creators. What's up, 7 of 9? What's up, Mad Robot? What's up, Troll with a Purpose? Glad to see you guys. I'm not sure if the StreamYard chat is delayed. I have the regular chat up too. Yo, I don't know how to make this video running in the background full screen, but it's pretty cool video I shot today at the studio. I was out there. It's so nice to be able to go to the studio and draw in a different environment. I know sometimes it's funny. I was listening to Ethan's stream as I was drawing, and Frege was talking about working with a bunch of artists in a office type setting. My cat might want out. And how you're playing off of other artists. It is so nice to be able to work with other artists. I know I share a studio space with Owen, and Owen and I kind of riff off of each other in productive ways. It is nice to be able to talk art and work in the same room with other artists. So that's a luxury that not a lot of people have. So I am very thankful for being in that position. But so the grifter thing, back to the grifter thing. So if somebody is calling you a grifter as a creator, they're really targeting your fans in a way that you just need to point out. You need to say, listen, and this is what I was trying to do yesterday on the debate, but it was like, pounding a cement wall with Doug and Mike, because obviously Doug and I am truly fascinated by clueless people, and Doug is a weird animal. I'm not sure if he is clueless. I mean, he comes off as clueless, but you never know if he's clueless or devious. Like, he knows that he's triggering people and he's just doing it for attention. Obviously, he's got a book that's launching on Wednesday. So when we're talking about him, when for that, I don't know if this, it seems like Doug believes that all attention is good attention, but I don't believe that. I think, you should, like, he's destroying his reputation in unproductive ways that I don't think is good, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is right. Maybe all attention is good attention. Hawk Thought says Doug was too high to take in any new information. Yes, I completely believe that. I got to get to the grifter thing though before I depart from that subject. So when someone calls you a grifter, and I've gotten called a grifter, like any creator is going to be called a grifter constantly. When somebody calls you a grifter, what they're really saying is the people who like you are idiots. The people who like you are morons. All of you in the chat, they're saying you guys are morons. And if you point that out, it makes them look like total a-holes, because they're basically calling a large group of people idiots, which why are you calling these people that you don't even know idiots? Like, how is that cool? That's totally indefensible. You don't know these people. You don't know why they necessarily. Obviously, they have more understanding of a person's work than you do, as just somebody who's taking snipes from afar. So it's a great way to reframe the grifter thing and totally put it on them, because they are basically being a-holes. They don't know anything. They're just trying to damage your reputation for no particular reason. I'll talk about it too. I got a DM from a strange DM from Preston. Preston is hard to DM with, because you ask him a straightforward question and he never answers straightforwardly. It's like, what? I kind of feel like, oh man, what are we like? We drift into what the fuck are we talking about here? So what's up, Hobo Frodo? Hobo Frodo's regular. What's up, Mark Trafford? Both Doug and Mike think everybody else is simpletons. Yeah, is that Dunning-Kruger effect? I don't know, because I made the argument that Doug is not very bright, and I honestly don't think Doug is very bright, but I think he thinks he's very bright. He thinks he's well read and all that stuff. But why does he? If he's so well read, why is he completely steering the conversation away from any substantive talk? If he's well read, why is he? If he's as smart as he makes himself out to be, I don't understand why he can't just engage with the topic directly. That was my goal in talking about that stuff. So, hey, Ned dropped the Supervillains Anonymous link. Yeah, I've been drawing on Supervillains Anonymous for like 5 days straight. The comic book art stuff is like, props to these guys. It's not easy. They make it look so easy. I've been an artist my whole life. I've been drawing and painting my whole life, but the comic book art is Well, unless you're going to do like a stylistic thing, which is not something that I want to do. It's not an easy game. So Doug was talking smack on Oz's stream this morning. It's so funny how he frames everything that comes out of his mouth is in opposition to Ethan, which he must be obsessed with. It seems like he even the way he frames his book as being this incredible value, it's always this incredible value compared to this other thing that's not necessarily an incredible value. And I don't understand why you have to frame your conversations that way. Like, why is that necessary? How is that helpful? How is that useful? And so many people are Ethan fans that they recognize this, they notice this. And how is that helpful for Doug? Because I don't think it's a particularly good selling point on your book. And the Ethan fans are obviously comic book fans. So I mean, why do you want to try to insult those comic book fans? I know. What's up, Victor? What's up, Adrian Bloom? What's up, Mr. Wonderful? Yeah, I was listening to Ethan's stream. I was going to do this right when I got home, but Ethan was streaming, so I just figured there's no way I could stand a chance going up against Ethan's stream. I think it's Michael Bancroft invited me to his stream, which was super nice of him, but there was like 9 people in there, and I'm not really good on these super big streams. Like, I've been on a bunch of streams with Ethan, but I don't feel like I'm really good. And also, streaming is a weird thing because you kind of have to build a rapport with a person so that they know when you're making jokes and insulting them and stuff like that, you're not serious. Like the streams with Ethan and Cecil and those guys are super funny because, they're cracking jokes and insulting each other, which is something that Sitch and I do a lot on our live streams. So I'm convinced it's one of the reasons why our streams are successful, moderately successful. Obviously, they're not hugely successful, but they are successful to a certain extent. I lost my StreamYards tab here. Okay. Just making sure the video is still running. I don't necessarily know how do they do it when it's I guess I could do this too. Banter. There you go. Look. What's this say? Doug is devious. Even when he was in CG, he would agree with EVS on EVS streams if EVS pointed something out or corrected him, but on his own, he would go back hard to his own narrative POV. Yes, totally. Yeah, that is a Doug-ism. So I took some notes here, obviously, because I was thinking about it. Oh, God. Like, on Oz's stream, it was driving me nuts. I think Oz likes Doug. And I think Doug might have given Liam just terrible advice on his book. I wish that I would have said, Liam, you gave Liam terrible advice on his book. So, because I didn't have a good answer for the terrible advice thing, but we'll track it down. We'll make a list. We'll make a comprehensive list. Next time we'll be ready. Busy Boy Adam says, what is that? What is this? Abbassai Australian. I guess it's day over there for you guys. So anyway, okay. So they have this argument that they constantly make with EVS. EVS is all charisma and no talent. They do this subversively. They never come out and say it. They never come out and say Ethan is all charisma and no talent. He's a terrible artist. He fucking sucks. They never come out and say this directly, but they infer it all the time. They go hard at this argument. And I really think that it's a way for them to bolster their own egos, because it's a way of belittling Ethan as an artist and also explaining why they're not in his position, why they're not as popular as him, because they are these amazing artists. In their mind, obviously, they're these amazing artists. I loved it on, I listened, they stream sniped us yesterday, and Malin and Ethan and Adam Post and I'm forgetting people. I hate when I forget people. Charlie's London. There was a bunch of people on there. Shane, Shane was on there. They all were doing commentary, doing such great commentary. I didn't feel like I was doing a good job because they kept interrupting me and derailing the conversation, which I just can't stand. My mind doesn't work as fast as some people's because I'm older. And when someone interrupts me, I'm like just fucking trying to get to the end of my sentence. It completely derails me, and then it's hard for me to get back to the topic. So it's difficult not being in a kind of formal debate setting where people shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You're supposed to be listening to the point that I'm making, not fucking interrupting me. It's so infuriating. So I think look for this and call them out on it. This way of like subtly belittling Ethan by, saying he's a terrible artist and explaining why they're not in his position because, obviously, it's his charisma that he foists on people. I don't think, I mean, a huge part of that charisma, especially for me, and you guys can tell me in the chat if you agree, is Ethan has a good read of the room. Ethan says things that I agree with. If Ethan said a bunch of shit that I didn't agree with, he'd be in Doug's position, and I'd be calling him a fucking asshole all the time. Hold on, I gotta let my cat out. Look, I got this super cool lighting. I don't know why does Ethan call this bisexual lighting. It's so cool. Like, I'm glad Frege came in, and Frege has the cool lighting too. And Ethan doesn't. I don't know. Ethan can't push Frege because he's known him forever, so he can't go crazy with Frege on the bisexual lighting thing. All right, let's see how I do this. I don't want to be like full screen there. That's a little too. It's a little too close for comfort. What's this one? Oh, that's the one. I guess it could be a little bigger. All right. No dead air. I did radio for a while while I was in college, so the dead air thing really bugs me. So I constantly have to motor mouth. Here, I'll rewind the thing. Where's that at? So just to tease a little bit, my notes say Jeremy hates Doug, ? I didn't know that. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers was talking shit about Doug. He didn't want to name him. I mean, this is a small friendly stream, so I can go ahead and name him. I don't know if I'd want to give Doug the kind of attention on a bigger stream. Obviously, we're not talking about on our podcast or anything like that. Is it our podcast? I guess it is our podcast, our weekly Sunday stream. I was trying to get Sitch to do a stream with me on Gamergate versus Comicsgate because I find that fascinating. I actually tried to set up a stream with Ethan and Sargon, but I don't know. I don't know the situation there. I don't know what comics. I know some people in Comicsgate like Sargon, but Sargon's kind of a polarizing figure. So, and I know Ethan's trying to not be as polarizing. I think maybe. I mean, he hasn't said anything to me, but that's just my own personal take. He calls us mainstream Comicsgate, which I kind of like. And his attitude is very, keep the politics out of comics, which I'm in favor of. So oh, here it is. Rewind. I should pull up something else. I have a bunch of videos just that are good background. Nobody ever watches. So anyway, back to the chat here. Back to my notes. Let's see here. Any questions you guys got? Oh, here we go. Hawk Thought says Doug never responds to any of your points, just talking around them while glancing at the baggie on his desk. That's hilarious. Is that the someone was saying that he needs like a pick-me-up, like he maybe does some of the white drugs. I don't know if that's like a rumor that's going around. That's the first I'd ever heard it. I think Doug is pretty straight-laced. I don't think he's doing any fun drugs, that's for sure. Here we go. Ethan is popular because he's just a dude. Exactly. It's It's funny that Ethan's intro is the most humble man in America. Like, and it's kind of a joke about how he's not that humble, but I think when Ethan gets in braggadocio mode, we all know that it's kind of tongue in cheek, which is why it works. It's like comedy gold. Even like they were talking about who's the biggest asshole on Ethan's stream, and they were saying Cecil's the biggest asshole, but Cecil works as an asshole because it's tongue in cheek. It's a joke. Like someone who someone who goes after people who don't deserve it is a true asshole. But Cecil goes after people who fucking deserve it, which is why we love it. That's not being an asshole. That's sometimes you got to be the karma cop. Sometimes you actually have to be the karma cop, and Cecil's good at stepping up and being that karma cop. Man, I'm a fucking bleeding heart. I always think, I worry that I'm going to regret doing something, which is not necessarily the best position to be in. So I'm working on that. That's a place for improvement myself. I don't know how much you guys are into self-improvement, but I think self-improvement is important. And that's, I think, one of the interesting things about like dealing with Doug and Mike is that I always wonder, I guess Doug doesn't care because he's making shitloads of money, but it seems like Mike thinks he's making enough money. I guess he made 30 grand off of that book the MAGA book. So, if he's happy, if that's what he wants to do, I don't know. It seems like he's on the downward slope. So as an artist, they always say, you're always only as good as your latest work. What are you doing lately? So this is the problem with Sargon. What is the problem? What is the problem with Sargon? Intentions and motivations. There is nothing malicious about Cecil. Yes, exactly. Totally. Yes. Yeah. It's commonly good to, hit back when somebody hits you first. When you're hitting first, then obviously you're not in a good shape. And I even said that in the talk with Doug and Mike. I said, oh, that's another thing that I need to clarify. It's in my notes. Don't attack other creators, because I think that got misconstrued a little bit. On Ethan's stream, they thought I was saying, don't criticize any creators, like mainstream creators. There is a distinction between the mainstream comic book creators that Comicsgate is kind of a rebuttal to. Oh, what's up? Ethan's in the chat now. Ethan says, for the record, hey, Adam, I love Sargon. Okay. There you have it, for the record. Anyway, there is a distinction between people who have institutional power and people who are renegades, who are rebels, who are independent, people who are, out there working on a wing and a prayer, that we are, as Carlo Rose says, the punk rock to their institutional, to their corporate pop music. So criticizing people who have institutional power, I think, this is what the left used to do. It's funny that all these people with the institutional power now are on the left and criticizing the independents outside of the left, or criticizing the independents outside of the corporate institutional system, not the left, just the institutional power that they have. So I think that was a little misunderstood, obviously, because they were jumping around on the stream. And I think I made it clear earlier on, but I'm not exactly sure. So one of the things that I see a lot of people want to create their own books, which I love. Like, more creators, the better. I'm all in favor of everybody, establishing an audience and trying to make something, man. I love the fact that this is one of the reasons why I love Comicsgate so much, is because it's a bunch of fucking artists doing their own thing. Like, who can't love that? It's amazing to me that so many people on the social justice side just can't see it for what it is. They've fallen for the headline that it's some kind of hate movement, when it's so far from that. So I think that's a terrible thing, and that's one of the things that drives me crazy as well. So, but when I was talking about the don't attack other creators, I was speaking specifically of other creators inside Comicsgate, because this seems like a constant mistake that people make. They want to blow up their profile by attacking other other creators, and it doesn't, that's not a path towards success. So my attitude is I don't want to attack other Comicsgate creators, other indie creators, simply because, I don't want them attacking me. I don't want them attacking my work, my campaign, my efforts. I don't want them attacking my business. Uh, when they're attacking you, like, you have every right to respond, and should respond, because they're attempting to damage your reputation. And you're in a position, if you're in a position to respond, you should respond, and attempt to protect your reputation. Your reputation is everything, especially in the crowdfunding game where trust is everything. I know had troubles with War Campaign in the very beginning, because the first thing they went after is my trustability. It's like, that's where they hit you. And it's funny because now that's the thing I was going to say with Preston. Preston was DMing me saying that War Campaign wants, or someone in War Campaign wants to debate on our show, mine and Dale's show. And I thought, what do they want to debate? And also I thought, why, like, you guys started attacking my reputation from like day one. What do I owe you? Like, why, why do I owe you a platform for anything? Like, seriously, why do you want to have anything to do with me? I thought I was totally untrustworthy. So, that's kind of an interesting thing. I'm sure they'll probably respond to that, just me saying that. If I thought that if they had like a decent argument for anything, I might even consider like hosting them for a debate, because I think talking about these things are how we learn to better articulate them, how we learn to better argue against other people who are up against us. It was so infuriating also, when Doug was talking about how the values of Comicsgate are so unclear. It's bonkers to me. I was listening to a stream that Ethan did maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, responding to Gail Simone. And man, he's articulating the same principles I'm articulating like a year and a half ago, like a year before I ever became interested or started hanging around with Comicsgate people. I mean, he's articulating the same exact values, the values of respect for the customer, respect for the people who are the fans, who've been fans for a long time, respect for the people who enjoy the medium as much as they do. The institutional powers that be kind of want to foist their politics onto people, because they all have Trump derangement syndrome, and they see Trump as like an existential threat. So they want to basically turn the medium that you have loved all your life into propaganda, which is, I mean, that's evil. That's totally evil. War Karistan is having a civil war. Yeah, Deadwood Dale was it's been watching the civil war going on in War Campaign. I mean, I don't want to disparage those guys either. Like, if they want to, I wish them the best, man. I wish them the best with their campaign. I hope they're successful. I think like focusing on trying to be successful at the expense of other creators is not good. I know that they've kind of made this divide between large creators and small creators, and they kind of are trying to pit the small creators against the large creators, which, I mean, they're just mining jealousy and animosity, which I don't think is good. I think people who are small creators should focus on becoming big creators, and the way to become a big creator is to understand how the big creators became big creators, to gain from their experience. And it's very difficult to gain from their experience if you're out there spitting in their face for views. How is that a smart business strategy? So Hey, it's Scott McCloud. He says, "Hey brother, good stream yesterday." He's got a book out that he's working on now that is hilarious. If anyone well, I'm sure many of you listen to my Sunday show with PSA Sitch. We always joke about who the sidekick is on our show. And he's got a book coming out that's I think it's called Sidekick Island, which it's pretty funny. So obviously, I'm not going to be in that book because I'm not the sidekick. We all know PSA Sitch is the sidekick. So maybe PSA Sitch will be the sidekick in Sidekick Island. Yes, Scott, throw your link in there. You're a mod. You can do that. So what else do I have here on my notes? Questions? Any questions, anyone? Hold on, we got something here. Someone not punching back makes me suspect them. Yeah, I get maybe so. I'm curious what you mean there. I mean, sometimes people try to take the moral high ground and not punch back. It depends. I mean, you have to be smart about it. Like, obviously, if you're punching back and raising someone's stature where they can become a threat, that's not necessarily a good strategy. So, also, you sometimes people give you a hard time for punching down. I know that's like a thing. I don't know that I honestly buy the whole punching down thing because I believe, if an argument's a good argument, it should be like it doesn't matter if you're punching up or down. We want to hear that argument. We want to understand where you're coming from. I think so many problems that we're having in society today is because people are too afraid to make arguments because they're afraid those arguments are going to be misconstrued, mischaracterized as racism and homophobia. So they're just trying to shut down dialogues. And I mean, if they really cared about racism and homophobia, they'd want to be talking about these things and looking for solutions. Like defunding the police is fucking retarded. Like, there's no way there's no way that's going to solve the problem. So let's see here. Oh, I got to click over here. Lukov says, "That's a nice killing room you have, Adam. When will you show us your toolkit?" Yeah, I haven't. I mean, obviously, as an artist, you like these industrial areas. Man, the first time I was ever at that place, I was like, "Oh, this is magic. So much creativity out of the killing room," as you call it. So let's see here. I wouldn't trust Testify with anything. Yeah, Testify was on Oz's show this morning too. And I think he's a little jilted because I think they're having like a breakup or something. So I don't follow any of that stuff. I don't see it on Twitter because I don't really follow any of those people. The only reason I know that War Campaign said something about debating on my show was because Preston Poulter messaged me that they said something on a stream. I clicked over the stream, looked at it, I think it had like 100 views on it, which is sad, very sad. And I asked Preston Poulter, well, what were they talking about? What was the what was the idea for the debate? And like I said in the beginning of the stream, it's impossible to DM with Preston because Preston turns any simple question like that into like a response. Like he thinks I'm trying to get one over on him or something. When I'm just like, I don't want to listen to the stream. I don't want to be involved in that. I'm just thinking, that's funny. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Ethan's chat. Here, let me restart my thing. Back here. Actually, I should pull up Social Justice Detective, shouldn't I? Can I do that? Here we go. Let's see here. My videos. Let's see here. I guess it's like ancient. I gotta go way back here. Come on, where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Social Justice Detective. You guys can check out my awful acting for a bit. All right, I'm back. About the low views, I mean, oh yeah, the 100 and change views. Man, those guys were funny though. I mean, they had a good shtick going. The thing on the thing that I have learned about on the show that I do with PSA Sitch, we do a show every Sunday. And I got to tell you, we're competitive with the Comicsgate guys as far as views go. I think our last show got 17,000 views. So, but people watch us on the repeats. And I think the reason people like the show is because, for the same reason people like blood sports. The problem with blood sports is that you're pitting people, you're like really stoking genuine anger in people. So there's not a long shelf life for that kind of endeavor. And I know Liam, I was contemplating having Liam on to talk about this, because I think Liam got into some trouble there because he started his show on kind of a blood sports model, which famously blew up with John Malin and Roe going at it, which was fucking amazing YouTube as far like just amazing YouTube. I can't who was the other Comicsgate guy that got involved in that, who was kind of the he was kind of the inciting incident for the whole thing, but it really blew up between Roe and John Malin. But that kind of thing, that was like, that's genuine hostility there. Those guys don't like each other. The dispute between Ethan and Pan, which was just detestable. I couldn't believe they were going off on Ethan that way. Oh my God. Like what ingratitude. Ethan did a cover for their fucking project, and Pan is like screaming at him on a stream. Why would you do such a thing? Like, I just don't understand it, but obviously it's genuine hostility there. Let me get a new thing up here. Lukov, last show on PSA Sitch was great. Dark Matter seems like a sincere guy and a good actor. I gotta respect that. Yeah, I think Dark Matter may come around. May come around to our position. I think I think I was instrumental in changing Sargon's position over to the more nuanced position that the Jordan Peterson folks have. So anyway, well, what was I? The genuine hostility in blood sports. Okay, so back to blood sports. So this blood sports model. Okay, someone says it perfectly right here. Blood sports becoming flaming wars. Who can insult who the best? Exactly. That genuine hostility that you're going to spark. Once you take that out of the box, like everyone's going to war with everyone else. And pretty soon it's like groups of 5 people left. Everyone hates everybody's guts. Where's this? Well, someone's saying, why do I always get this YH Soy Adam talking to Agent Adam? Oh yeah. That's a social justice detective. I don't know if you guys have watched this. This is a short film that I did a long time ago, which is pretty fun to make. So I wrote it. It's my writing sample. So back to blood sports. So that shit is going to burn itself out, but you can get around this because people like conflict. Conflict drives. Yeah, Rob Casey, that's the guy. Conflict drives the story. Like it's writing 101. If you don't have conflict in your story, you don't have a goddamn motherfucking story. You need conflict. People are interested in conflict. Conflict draws people in. So, but in order to sustain that conflict on something like a show where it's like reality television, you're talking to real people, you have to find a dynamic with somebody that you genuinely like. And PSA Sitch and I, like from the get-go, we liked each other. We understood each other. I kind of have that with Dark Matter too. Dark Matter and I disagree on fucking everything. But he's a great YouTuber. And I genuinely like him. I mean, I respect him as an artist. He respects me as an artist, which is a cool thing. We have something in common. So I feel like, and obviously it's too early with Dark Matter, but with PSA Sitch, like we've been friends forever. So Sitch and I genuinely go at it, like blood sports style, on our shows. Like we famously did a show with Brooks which was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And we battle each other. When Sitch and I are working on our comic, we battle each other because we want it to be the best it can possibly be. So we argue it out. If something isn't right, I don't say, "Oh, I don't like the way he says this line." I say, "This line doesn't work because, this is a setup for these various payoffs down the line, and if that line isn't delivered in the way that sets up those payoffs are pointless. There's no point in even having those payoffs." So we argue it out, and sooner like the one who wins the argument is the one who has the most logical reason why the script should be that way. It's not we don't devolve into stylistic wars over whose opinion is correct. We try to, both of us have writing experience, so we try to use those principles of writing when we develop. I can't imagine. Can you imagine writing something with Doug TenNapel? Oh my God. Oh my God. We got to get Elliot Fernandez on the show. I wonder if Dale could reach out to Elliot Fernandez and we could talk to him about working with Doug. Oh man. Has anyone worked with Doug other than Elliot Fernandez? Because I'm dying to. I mean, I can just see Doug being like, my way or the highway, with no logical reason why the script should be that way. Just Doug's gut intuition that it should be this way. I mean, I didn't see like a setup payoff structure going in any of Doug's work. So I'm breaking my rule about not going after other independent creators here. Doug just fucking triggers the shit out of me, though. I can't help myself. All right, is this a question? I don't know. I see a question mark. Good. Old School History says, can you keep politics out of CG when so much of the politics in comics isn't party political? Just having a feminine woman, a male mentor, a blonde white guy who isn't a villain is now political. Okay, so this actually came up in the debate with Doug. And I said, listen, just because there are people out there in the world that want to view everything through a political lens doesn't mean that you have to. I think they're trying to characterize your work as political because they want to make an argument why your work shouldn't exist. And their argument is a political argument. It's an argument that you're hurting marginalized people. You're hurting little girls that know that they're never going to grow up and have, a double D cup size. You're hurting their feelings. And therefore your comic shouldn't exist. But I mean, I think we're all artists, so we're all in favor of there being like the widest variety of work out there in the public sphere. So we like the fact that there's a lot of different types of work. Yeah, if you're a pervy wanker and you want big titty comics, there should be a place for you to go. The social justice warriors, they have a completely different outlook. They have an outlook that these things are dangerous to certain people. And, maybe there are, but there used to be a reason why, those things were rated certain ways, rated adult. So, you weren't parading them around in front of your teenage daughter who might be offended by them. That system seemed to work. I don't know why they can't exist. Igor Bondar says, Adam not fighting the rainbow equals stabbing the bride of Christ. Oh. Yeah, that's true. We actually, after the stream, Doug would talk about this on stream. I'm going to try to characterize this in the best possible light. But he did basically say after the stream was over that he thought Comicsgate should be a conservative movement, that really the only way you could fight the culture war was through being conservative, like a conservative movement to face the progressive movement, basically a CNN, MSNBC versus Fox News type of strategy, which I completely disagree with, because the CNN versus Fox News strategy has not ended well for society. I feel like CNN and Fox News both get it half right and half wrong, and they both tend towards mischaracterizing the opposition, let's say, just to put it nicely. So, but there needs to be some place where people can actually come together and agree. So if there's a book that's apolitical that conservatives and progressives can agree is a good book, then that's some cultural touchstone that these two people who more and more have nothing in common can have something in common and maybe see eye to eye on. It's kind of the same thing with the dark matter situation. Like, dark matter respects me, I respect dark matter. We disagree on virtually everything, but I'm not going to change his mind if he fucking hates my guts and like I just go out there completely disrespecting about everything. So you're better off finding points of agreement with people and then, you know, if, like, talking to them honestly and deeply and figuring it out. That's another thing that was frustrating about the Doug and Mike thing. And maybe this just can never really happen in public because it's a public display. So therefore everyone's performing to some extent. And, you know, obviously I'm not completely innocent there either. Obviously, you know, I'm trying to put on a show here, trying to be entertaining. 100%. Lukov says 100% agree, Adam. I don't know what he's agreeing with, but look at that. 100% agreement. How often do you get that? Darren Wagoner says AAT, which is ass titty, which I like. Although I'm more of a titty guy, so I think titty ass would be more to my liking. But that's, you know, preference. Who cares, right? It's all good. Here's a F Doug. Come on. It's so funny. I just can't tell, man. I can't tell if Doug is serious or not. So let me know if you guys know why Jeremy doesn't like Doug. Like, he said that on what is it, Friday Night Tights, on the Friday Night Tights show. He was very disgruntled about Doug mentioning Jeremy is not, or characterizing Jeremy as Comicsgate. I guess Jeremy doesn't characterize himself as Comicsgate, which is fine. We're not the Comicsgate police, for heaven's sakes. I think that was one thing that was frustrating about War Campaign, is that War Campaign kind of wanted to fill that role as the Comicsgate police. And I mean, what the fuck? Who like, if we have a problem, there's like the real police. We can call the real police anytime. If it's a genuine problem, I don't know. Well, what's Ethan saying here? ComicArtistPro Secret says the culture war will be won by the side that gets the middle. Exactly. Oh my God. See, look, and here's Mike. Where's Mike in the chat? EVS simp right here. Like, you can't fucking agree with a guy without being called a fucking simp. What the fuck? That's so awful. That's so awful. Listen, I've said this same thing. I've said the same thing on my show with Sitch again and again and again. It's the middle the middle is the kingmakers. They're the ones that decide every single election. The middle is the kingmakers. The extremes, they're not going to vote for the other side in any way, shape, or form ever. You're never going to change their minds. The only ones that can be persuaded is the middle. And if you're not going for the middle, you're not trying to win. So he continues, you don't get the middle by being extremist. Yeah, exactly. See, Ethan is a smart guy. Mike should listen. Mike should take some notes. You could learn something. Like, that's why Ethan is popular, because Ethan's a smart guy. Ethan says smart things. Ethan gives other people smart things to say. Scott McCloud says, people confuse right and left with tactics. Oh yeah, this is another thing. It's so weird. So I'm supposed to, I guess, abandon personal responsibility now because SJWs go around saying that freedom of speech is not freedom of consequences, which is basically a reframing of the personal responsibility argument. So I'm supposed to be against personal responsibility now because it was worded in a certain way. What the fuck? This is Mike's argument. This is Mike's argument that if you say anything that a SJW just so happened to say, you are an SJW. So now we're supposed to like write down all the things that they say, and regardless of whether or not they are correct or incorrect, not ever utter them, not ever say them. I don't like that word utter because it's weird. It makes me think of a cow. You're not supposed to ever say those things because, oh my God, an SJW said it one time. So Scott continues. This is how you have guys like Doug call EVS and the SJW. Yeah, that's exactly right. Although Doug, I did notice Doug said in the conversation that it was an SJW tactic, which I thought, oh my God, he totally got that from me. He totally got that from me. That's funny. Scott Adams, who I have obviously like a love-hate relationship with. Scott Adams is a really smart guy, but he triggers the shit out of me, and he's on this tirade against artists, always talking about how artists are irrational. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of irrational artists, but there are a lot of really cool artists too. So I don't think characterizing all artists as irrational is anything other than, I mean, you'd have to call it bigotry, wouldn't you? It's kind of like saying, it's saying any group, all white people have white fragility. Okay. All right. Way to be a bigot. So yeah. But I forgot what I was saying there. Scott Adams does say super smart things, and I do listen to Scott Adams, and I can't remember what I was saying, so I'll just move on. Comic Artist Pro Secrets again says the culture war will be won by the side that gets the middle. You don't get the middle. Oh, I already said that. I got it. Here we go. I'm on autopilot here. It is late here. 1:30. I guess it's not really that late, but I usually get up at like 6 a.m. I was going to stream right when I got home, but Ethan again says Force Ghosts. I don't know if I can afford that. I'm thinking a larger blister pack. Oh, he's talking to other people in the chat. Let me look for anything with a question mark. So what do I have left here? Don't attack other creators. Am I clear on that? Do you guys have any questions on that? It's kind of a pragmatic argument. I'm not going to, I conceptualize Comicsgate as there's the creators and the fans, and the fans fucking by all means attack whoever you want, critique whoever you want, criticize whoever you want. We need feedback from the fans. We need fans that are willing to give us harsh and honest criticism, feedback, so we can get better. By all means, do it. I encourage it. But creators, you're in a different game. Like, you going after other creators is just pragmatically not a good strategy for you to succeed in the end. So I counsel against it, and I try to not do it myself because it's just not a good strategy for success. So I often say that I don't attack. Well, I say this on Twitter for those of you who follow me, but I often say I don't attack I'm a creator, and I don't attack other creators except for Doug, who I attack all the time reasonably, because he's just on a hate fest and he kind of has it coming. So I don't know. And I think he honestly believes it's good for him. It's good for his campaigns and whatnot. And maybe it is. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Who knows? It's not good for winning over the Comicsgate crowd, but he has this idea that there's like 900,000 Earthworm Jim fans out there that are going to buy his book no matter what. And he just has to find them, which is not a bad marketing strategy. If you have a property like that, and this is why Doug tends to give bad advice, because he gives everyone advice as if they have a property that's a multi-million-dollar property that has, millions of dollars of advertising behind it over decades. He gives you advice like you're in that same position, when you're not necessarily in that same position. I guess I should. Here we go. What's this say? Guildmaster Skarma, fan of the channel, longtime watcher, listener. Scott Adams also hates teachers now for some reason. It's pretty hilarious. Yeah, I know, he's going hard after the teachers union. Ned actually shared an article with me that was super interesting. Like, there is a problem there with the teachers union. So in order to understand the problem, you have to look at it clearly. This is also the problem with the SJWs. They want to use the problems to gain political relevance instead of looking at the problems honestly as a way, in a way that is looking for solutions. So let's see. Ethan's laying down the wisdom here, the Comicsgate wisdom. I go back and I listen to your boy Zach's videos sometimes too, and I mean all this. It seems like your Richard was or Zach was. I mean, he was articulating a lot of these ideas, and a lot of these ideas were really important. And it's good to talk about these ideas because it's what keeps them alive. So when Doug talks about the principles of comics, I think it's interesting. I wonder sometimes if I'm the only person that thinks it's interesting. Like, oh my God, this stuffy philosophy nonsense. I don't have a big heart for philosophy, but I do think I have a very keen interest in morality and moral psychology and why people moralize and how people come together in groups. It was funny that we never got to this interesting stuff in the debate with Doug because it completely went over his head. But Doug was talking about how only individuals have principles, which is retarded. Are you kidding me? Groups form around principles. That's the reason groups form. Groups form because there is some principle that people think is being ignored, and they want to say, this is our principle. Like Jesus died for our sins is our principle. That's the unifying principle of our group, and we're going to spread that principle around the world. That's how Christianity formed. That's the united principle around Christianity, that Jesus died for our sins, that there is forgiveness out there for you if you want to accept that. And that forgiveness is a good thing to foster in a society, because if you don't foster forgiveness, you have people like Mike S. Miller running around who can't fucking forgive anyone. You have people like Doug TenNapel running around destroying their lives because they can't forgive anyone, because they can't forgive people and move on. It's so funny that they're the Christians. How much irony is there in that they're the ones that are supposed to be preaching forgiveness, but they can't invite forgiveness into their own lives. So Ethan says Comicsgate should be 90% about making and selling comics. I completely agree. And 10% about fighting SJWs. Yeah, that's a good ratio. SJWs are going to lose of their own making. We only need to point out the reasons why while succeeding. Yeah, exactly. And it should be a cautionary tale. It should definitely be a cautionary tale, which is this is like a parable that's going on here. This is why it's so fascinating. It's like a moral parable that's going on. And I love the fact that Ethan and Malin and Cecil, they're articulating these parables. They are all the time. It's great. It's completely awesome. And I guess Doug is kind of a good foil for that, because he's moralizing so much about principles. But not really, articulating his principles. I mean, his principles, and it's funny because, in advertising or marketing, you're always trying to find what makes your product unique over someone else's product. And Doug's doesn't have anything unique about his product. He comes out and says, like, we have a great product. Well, what? Who sets out to make a shitty product? Like, that's the bare minimum for anything in business. Like, we have a good product. Like that's like someone who like a car wash place saying, we wash cars. Yeah, no shit. You're a car wash place. We make good comic. Yeah, no shit. You're a comic book creator. Yeah, I would expect that. That's like okay, what else you got for me? Doug does try to go like the extra mile with like the super like super great book and all this extra stuff, but I'm a story guy, so I want something that's gonna move me, like something that's gonna make me laugh, and it's gonna be entertaining. Like the first 5 pages of Cecil's comic are fucking hilarious, dude. How can you not read the first 5 pages of that comic and not be completely hooked? Like, it's story all the way. Amazing story. Like our comic, we hope to be just as hilarious. Like, we're constantly going through. Like, we want jokes on every single page. There should be tons of jokes. It should be funny as hell. It should be interesting, moving. Like, look at things in different ways. Like, if I'm here bragging about our printing, expect our book. Like, what the, hold on. Why? Like, why? We spent so much time writing the story. Why would we be why are we bragging about the printing? I'd be bragging about the fucking story. Like, you're buying the story. The story is the whole reason you're buying the book. All right, I gotta catch up here. All right, I gotta restart this. You guys are getting your fill of Social Justice Detective, I know. Anyway, nobody's watching anyway. Everyone's just listening. I always tell people, most people just listen to your videos on YouTube. Like, if you're doing a trailer that you expect people to be like fixated on, you're probably making a mistake. You should probably be describing the book to them. I had my braces on then. This is so crazy. That's not I had braces I had adult braces, which I just immediately thought this would be hilarious. The braces, I think, make the performance. They really do. Hold on, I'm trying. Ethan's dropping wisdom, and obviously, here, let me see here. Oh, Bianca, what's up? Bianca Fight Zombies. We're trying to get you on a stream, man. When are you actually going to do a stream? We know your secret, Bianca. We know that you script everything out. You sit down and labor over it, and you write it down. Right. Type. Make it everything perfect. Get all your ducks in a row, all your jokes in order, and then you read it. I mean, if I'm wrong, correct me, but that's what you're doing. You're reading a script, and you're too nervous to go on a stream because, I mean, I'm speculating here. You're in the chat. You can obviously respond if I'm incorrect here, but I'm speculating that you don't want to go on a stream because you're afraid you're going to get tongue tied, or you're going to Donnie Cates on us. Poor Donnie Cates. I did read a Donnie Cates book shortly after that. That's a bleeding heart in me. I thought, is Donnie Cates any good as a writer? Maybe I'll feel slightly worse if Donnie Cates is actually a decent writer, but and the book I read like a soap opera, just with Marvel characters, so it didn't strike me as anything too terribly original. Oh, I got to go to this one here. DJ 2K. Now my cat's complaining that he wants in. Oh, he sounds so bad. What's this say? Ethan says, I never agree with Bianca Fights Zombies, but I love his videos. Fat bastard that he is. Oh, is he fat? I don't know. Are you fat, Bianca? Is that why you don't want to go on a stream? I gained 11 pounds so far, he says. I was looking, someone had a question and I missed it here. The teachers' unions don't give two shits about our kids. That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly. All right. I completely forgot what I was talking about, but here we go. Ned's going to drop some wisdom on us. Doesn't matter. We're moving on. Remind me in the chat if what I was talking about before I started going after Bianca, who's going to do a stream someday. I got to tell you, I was shy, afraid to talk to people, afraid of public speaking, all of that for most of my life. I started Deadline Junkies, the writer's lab it's kind of running itself now. I don't go there often, and obviously there's the pandemic, so it's been shut down. But I ran Deadline Junkies for 10 years, professional level screenwriting lab here in Los Angeles. And when I started that lab 10 years ago. It didn't dawn on me that the thing would need a moderator. And a good friend of mine, a screenwriter, basically pushed me into being the moderator, which is like I had to get up in front of a room full of like 30, 40 people. It's being thrust into that situation isn't comfortable at all. In our evolutionary history, every time you alone stood in front of a group of 40 people, it generally meant you were about to die. And that's kind of how you feel your first time going out public speaking. So I was forced into it, and then doing that for 10 years. I mean, after a while, you're kind of like enjoying it. You're thinking, I'm working on my comedy routine. I'm working on my material. I'm crafting jokes, and I'm testing them out in front of an audience. I mean, it made my screenwriting a million times better. Public speaking did. So, hey, look, Anna's in the chat. What's up? What's up, Star Wars girl? I always liked public speaking. Yeah. Okay. One of those different people. I think most people are terrified of public speaking, but there are people who do enjoy it. So, I enjoy it now, definitely, but I can remember back when I was terrified. So, and I was forced into it. I'm so glad that accident happened, because if I would have thought, okay, I'm starting this writer's lab and I'm going to eventually have to be talking once a week in front of 40 anonymous strangers, I probably would have never started the writer's lab. I never would have got over that hump because I would have been too terrified. So thank God for happy accidents. So, woo. Ned, Vile Ned. Oof, man, Vile, it's Vile Ned? Is that Vale or Vile? Is it Vale Ned? I don't know. How do I pronounce that anyway? So far from being vile, but I don't think I'm dyslexic as can be. So I'm a terrible reader and I'm a terrible speller. So Mike doesn't even believe in the traditional way of looking at turning the other cheek. For real? He believes in an eye for an eye, doesn't he? Oh my God. He believes that the idea was that turning the other cheek was saying, I dare you to do it again. What? Oh my God. How self-serving is that? That is fucking hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. Oh my God. That's crazy. What's this say? Doug doesn't have principles. He points out flaws in other people, writes them off, and then calls that principle. Yeah, writing people off. That's another thing. I guess I could tell you a Doug story because it's kind of interesting. Because I mean, I went on Doug's show before I ever started hanging out with comic skaters. I actually thought Doug was a comic skater when I originally went on his show. So I was like, what's happening here? This is like a bait and switch. Doug was closing out Earthworm Jim, and he was inviting me on every single day. And he was kind of, it seemed like he did a daily show. Like, for all I knew, he was doing a daily show and he was going to continue to do a daily show. But really, he was only doing a daily show to close out Earthworm Jim. And since I was a popular draw because I was arguing with him every day about Comicsgate, and people like to see people argue, he was inviting me on every day to argue with him. So that's basically my introduction to Doug. But as soon as Earthworm Jim launched, like, he completely stopped doing the show. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's how it is. I didn't realize you weren't doing like a regular show thing. So I started making videos about that because Doug was saying stuff that was insulting everyone. And I started making kind of response videos just to kind of feel my way out around Comicsgate. And Doug, I did a response video where I was talking about Preston Poulter, but like I said, I don't like to call out creators. So I was very careful not to use his name and just say that, I think a lot of anti-comic skaters are driven specifically by jealousy. And Doug thought I was talking about him and DM'd me about, like, you said I was jealous. I'm not jealous. I don't have jealousy. Like, it's over. I'm through with you. You're done. You're dead to me, basically. And I was like, gee, that's like a little harsh, don't you think? I mean, I wasn't really even talking about you, which I thought was interesting. You know, you catalog that stuff. You're like, okay, I get it. I get it. This is the kind of person that throws people away for the slightest little perceived slights. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I don't think he would have done that if he thought, well, I don't know. Maybe he didn't realize, I don't know. A lot of the Comicsgate people don't realize that I have a show that I do once a week that's semi-popular, and that, like, I am friends with a lot of people on YouTube just because I've been doing YouTube for so long. So I think people kind of underestimate. They think I'm like the small time YouTuber. I mean, I don't want to brag, for heaven's sakes. I'm not like in the realm of things. Like, I'm obviously no Jake Paul or anything like that, but I was looking for some interesting comments to drive the conversation. I saw Cecil showed up. What's up, Cecil? I was just talking about your cash grab book. Cecil did an amazing thing that I mean, I was watching when Cecil launched his campaign. I can't find the chat. I guess I'll just read it. I was watching some RLM Star Trek stuff, but Anna told me to come over here. What? Oh, nice. I got a shout out from Anna. Great stuff. So Cecil, word to the wise, if you're starting a crowdfunding campaign, obviously getting attention is important. Cecil is a master at this, at getting attention, stuff. Everyone's going to say I'm a Cecil simp now. I'm only saying it because there's something to be learned from it. If Cecil wasn't doing things correctly, I would not be making this comment. So it's not me trying to blow smoke at Cecil. It's something that Cecil did very smartly. Well, actually, I'll throw in something Cecil didn't do smartly at all. So when Cecil launched his campaign, Cash Grab, I was listening. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, Cecil was like getting drunk and just getting a lot of attention from that. But Cecil on one stream with Ethan. No, this is the part where you've totally fucked up. This is Cecil saying, "Simp away, Simpy." Now, this is the part where Cecil fucked up, and I think Cecil would admit that he fucked up, but he took the bit a bit too far, and people did not know that he was joking. People thought that he was serious about, Cecil does this thing where he pretends to be an asshole, and it's funny. It's funny as hell, but people on that stream actually thought Cecil was being a sincere asshole. Like, I think I, for a minute there, started sensing, like, my gut was saying, was feeling various people in the audience wondering if Cecil was for real, and if Cecil, like, was really going to deliver a book, or if he's like really, I mean, he was going hard on the, like, you guys are all my simps, basically what he's doing now. And I think that, I mean, he might even got some refunds from it, but that was not a good thing to do. And that's the only mistake I perceive that he made in the launch of his book. Everything was swimming, but the one thing that he did that was brilliant, like, here I am calling Cecil brilliant. He's for a drunk, he's actually pretty intelligent. There was a point, like, he had this one routine going, the whole "you guys are beneath me" routine, which was good. That whole, yeah, you're beneath me, but we're really just joking around, which was funny. But that kind of ran its course, I think. I don't know if he is in the chat. He can tell you if it was a week or 2 weeks. But I, in my gut, realized, okay, this is getting old. Like, I thought, this is not as funny as it once was. Because humor is all about surprise. And if you're no longer surprising the audience, it's no longer funny. So Cecil did something brilliant there. He changed the entire campaign, and he started doing the the Jim Jones well, like the charismatic cult leader bit, which was great because it was brand new. It was something different. It was totally unexpected. And I was thinking that, yeah, that's a good move. Those are good comedic instincts to change it up like that. And I don't know if the Jim Jones, you know who Jim Jones is. The charismatic cult leader thing, yeah. And he was tweeting out and he was doing the impressions and stuff like that. It was definitely, and it was the perfect time for it because I was like, oh fuck. I was thinking I'm gonna refund this Cecil dude. I'm fucking sick of this, like talking down to me. I'm starting to think he means it. I'm starting to think he honestly means this shit. Where's that refund button? No, I'm joking. I would never dream of refunding a book. I still have vestige on my I still have vestige in my spare room unopened. It's so funny. That's so funny. I mean, I wish them the best. I do wish them the best, but it's like when you attack, like they attacked me personally. So, I mean, I'm entitled to my opinion. Anyway, moving on. Enough Cecil fuck upperies. Cecil and then Cecil kind of like hit six figures and he's like, I'm done hitting the slopes. I'm done with this shit. Like I'm over it. Oh shit, I have to actually write a book. Holy shit. That's the exciting thing about the crowdfunding stuff. For like art, a lot of artists have kind of a gambler's instinct, and it is attractive from a kind of gambling perspective. Anyway, oh my god, I'm going on an hour and 16 minutes. All right, questions. Back to the chat here. Doug is a lost course. Yeah, Mike could still be saved from himself. Mark, I got to disagree with you. I talked to Mike privately on occasion, and I do not believe Mike can be saved from himself. I honestly don't. Mike is not, and Mike will not listen to anything that you say. Mike has this thing where whatever you say, he's one of those people that whatever you say, you have to be wrong and he has to be right. And therefore, he just takes the opposite position. You can see that he's telegraphing that this is his strategy when he's deduced something that the SJWs do must not be done. Like, if an SJW does it, you have to take the opposite position, regardless of whether or not it is correct. Yeah, that's funny. Moving down the list here. Let's see what's going on here. This is good practice because I think once we finally launch a campaign, I'll be forced to be streaming more often. I will be forced to be streaming more often. Just obviously, this is the smart thing that Ethan does. Like Ethan has found a way to make QVC actually entertaining, which is fucking brilliant. But basically it is QVC, which is like there's a lot of money to be made on QVC. Let's see, what do I got here? Mike needs to be left alone. Everything he touches, he destroys. But can't we? I mean, I think it's worthwhile for an examination. Like I said, it's a parable. It's a cautionary tale, as they say. This is where that leads. Do you want to hang out with the cool kids, or do you want to steal kumquats off your neighbor's tree? Like, which way do you want to go? You decide. This is like a you decide thriller here, where you get to pick the direction. One way is, camaraderie and friendship. The other way is free kumquats. Pick. I don't know. Mike does. I mean, I don't know. I think we can disagree with people and still, in general, I mean, that's the thing though. Can you be kind? Like Mike, does Mike know that he's insulting people? Does Doug know that he's insulting people? I feel like when we did our discussion, it was kind of like an attempted intervention. I really should pull up a longer video here. I just don't want to get in your guys' face. And I got my bisexual lighting going, so I don't want to offend Ethan. He might kick me out of Comics. Oh, wouldn't that be embarrassing? Oh my God. I got kicked out of Comicsgate for having bisexual lighting. Oh my God. I'll never be able to live it down. Oh shit. And now I'm laughing at my own jokes, which is completely insufferable. All right, questions. I'll go for like 10 more minutes just to let you guys know. I can't believe there's this many. There's like 114 people watching in the middle of the night. This is crazy. No one's going to watch an hour and 20-minute stream. I was actually planning on going here. Let me go back to my notes first to make sure I just said everything that I wanted to write down. I have Doug talking shit on Oz's stream. Yeah, I covered that. EVS is all charisma, no talent. I covered that. That is their argument. I have it right here. A way to belittle EVS as an artist and explain why they're not in his position, why they're not as popular as him, which is great. It's a completely self-serving argument. And they don't have to grapple with little tiny things like reality. Come on. Let's live in the real world, guys. Jeremy hates Doug. Did we ever get any answer on that? Why does Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers not like Doug? I think it's interesting that he doesn't, but I don't necessarily know why. War Campaign wants to debate. I didn't watch their show, so I don't know what they want to debate about, but I am interested in knowing what they want to debate about. If anyone knows, you can leave it in the comments or pull it up. Here we go. We got him. Mike is unusually stubborn. It's short man's disease. Short people are weird. Okay, Bianca fight zombies. I thought we were going to get him. I thought we were going to have something more conclusive that we might be able to mine some internet drama, but that's Bianca. Please give us a more incendiary insult for Mike, so we can have you on to fight him to the death. Just kidding. Don't attack other creators. I hope I've made that clear. Like, obviously, it's more like a guideline than a rule. Respect for the customers is like the number one principle in Comicsgate. Actually, I would put respect for the customers above no politics in comic books, because no politics in comic books actually that's how you respect the customer, because you don't know the politics of the customer. Maybe they're a right winger, maybe they're a left winger, maybe they're a fucking communist. They don't want to be told, well, all communists should be told that they're idiots. So that I think okay, if you're a communist and you're in Comicsgate, oh God, it's so painful to say. This is why you just leave the politics out of it. This is exactly why you got to leave the politics out of it. So, and that's it. Yeah, that's my whole notes. I did get to all my notes. Let me see. Like I said, 7 more minutes counting down. That lighting makes you look fabulous. Oh, look at that. Take that, Ethan. Fabulous lighting. Oh my God. Hold on. You mean, oh, okay. I fell for it. I think by fabulous, he means gay. So I think I fell for it. God damn you. Let's see. Igor Bob. They know they're insulting people. They just think that anybody who's offended by it is a touchy SJW. Okay. That's so funny. I mean, yeah. So they shouldn't be in. This is so weird, because it's like the white fragility thing. It's like, okay, if you call people a racist, they're gonna get upset. Well, no shit. No shit, Sherlock. Yeah. Guess what? If you spit into people's faces, they're gonna get pissed. Like, disrespect is different. Like, the SJW thing is inadvertent disrespect. Like, it's not intentional. I guess you could make an argument that Mike and Doug are inadvertently disrespecting everyone. I guess that's why I'm trying to point it out. I'm saying, listen, you dum-dums, you're inadvertently insulting everyone, and you might want to not do that. Oh yeah, Scott McCloud says fuck communism. Yeah, even everyone knows communism is crazy. There's a book that I talk about all the time on our show, Why Nations Fail. The name of the book is literally Why Nations Fail. a lot of artists, I think, listen to audiobooks. I highly recommend that book. It's entertaining as can be. There's a lot of history, and it explains why nations fail and why nations, one of the reasons nations fail is communism. If you take away people's uh, property rights, it takes away their incentive to become successful. Can you imagine if you, like, what would be the incentive to have a six-figure crowdfunding campaign if you knew that some party leader could swoop in and just take away all of your money? I mean, it's hard to, a lot of these guys know what the taxes are like, and that's a that's something people don't like. Can you imagine if the taxes was 100%? Oh my God. Yeah, that pretty much saps your incentives to do anything. So I'm getting sidetracked. What was I saying? Oh yeah, keeping the things up here. I don't know why I'm clicking on Bianca Fight Zombies has terrible takes. His videos, I mean, I listen to his videos because just with my mouth agape and his awful takes. So, but you know, obviously he's making Comicsgate themed stuff. So I really doubt anyone cares about a Comicsgate documentary. Uh, I mean, if anyone's interested, I did do several talks, I mean, several meetings with several people about a Comicsgate documentary, and the angle on a Comicsgate documentary is the angle that clip is going around of Cecil and Ethan talking about how SJWs are destroying the comic book industry. I think like anytime you do a documentary project, you want, like, hey, it's kind of like Comicsgate, you want to cater to the largest possible audience you can get. A Comicsgate documentary has the advantage of, it has all of these keywords. So if you're in a streaming environment, you're going to get a lot of attention just from the fact that there's Marvel in it, Batman in it, Spider-Man, Hulk, all of these different things you're going to be talking about. All those keywords are going to be associated with your documentary, which is going to be huge. Like, that documentary could easily go viral, but the angle would be the death of the comic book industry, the same thing that Comicsgate is always talking about. And in order to get the kind of interviews that you would need to get to make that documentary reputable, I just don't have the pull. I don't have the pull to get. So you would have to have some kind of institution behind you, like BBC or some, you know, some documentary filmmaking, some institutional power to get those interviews, because the people that you'd need to get those interviews from would know that you were serious. Like, this movie was going to happen regardless of whether or not they interviewed or not. So they'd be incentivized to go on the record uh, to not be mischaracterized or anything like that. But I don't have any of that institutional pull, so that could never happen. I guess, I mean, if you crowdfunded it and had a decent budget, you could just pay them obscene amounts of money to be a part of it, which is also an option. But obviously, I'm more interested in making books. So, what do we got here? 2 more minutes, counting down. A Comicsgate documentary would be huge. Comicsgate would be a part of the documentary, but the selling point of the documentary would really be the death of the comic book industry, because everyone, all the normies are interested in that. They're like, what? Most of the normies don't even know that the comic book industry is dying. They'd be like, what? I just saw like 10 Marvel movies this year. The comic, DC is just getting their stride with movies going, and the comic book industry is in this kind of shape. People would be fascinated by that. That documentary would stand a huge chance of going viral. And you want the same thing in movies that you want in anything. Virality, people interested, getting the normies interested, getting the middle interested. People love watching long form commentary on YouTube they know nothing about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, totally. So much of movies and any kind of project is really you're trying to put together a subject that will interest people in a way that will interest people. So Like if the project was ever alive, if I ever encounter anybody that does have the kind of pull to make that work. And I do have a friend of mine that did a documentary recently, and he was saying that the big mistake that he made was that he didn't make the budget like $50,000 more, because he has a movie that he thinks he could easily sell via Facebook ads if he had a $50,000 budget to run the Facebook ads. Like he would spend a $50,000 budget and probably make like $150,000 on the movie. So that was his mistake. So, all right. I'm way behind here. What does Scott have to say? For the documentary, you would need to pull the wool over mainstream SJW's eyes. No, I don't think, yeah. We had talked about that too, because I have a friend of mine who's also made documentaries who I think could get some serious SJW interviews. Yeah, you'd want to pull both sides. And I talked to Art about this. Like none of this is a secret. We would want to. My thing is, if you just show Comicsgate in an unbiased light, we look great, because the only thing they have going for them on the anti-Comicsgate side is fucking lies and deception. They write these articles that are complete and utter bullshit. Most news is like complete and utter bullshit, especially now when everyone's driven by politics. So, yeah. So that's that. Yeah. What else? Anything? All right, we're over. We're big time over. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Hey, and thanks for the oh wait, nobody super chatted. Okay, well, never mind then. Fuck you guys. No, obviously I'm joking. I'm just kidding around. Thanks for stopping by, Ethan. Thanks for stopping by, Anna, that Star Wars girl. Thanks for stopping by, Cecil. Thanks for shouting me out to Cecil, Anna. And thanks to all of you. Let me shout out some of you guys too, obviously. DJ2K Comics, thanks for stopping by. Scott McCloud, who's got a book coming out. I don't know if he dropped a link in the chat, but you should check it out. Oh, there it is right there. Sign up. Sidekick Island. I might try to bribe Scott into putting Sitch into that book as one of the sidekicks. I think that would be totally fucking hilarious and the troll of the year. If there was actually a book that Sitch was in as a sidekick, and like I'm not a sidekick. Guildmaster Skarma, obviously. Last Crusader, I see almost all the time. I see him in all these streams. Nice to see you. Adrian Blom, nice to see you. Lukov, nice to see you. Mr. Wonderful, nice to see you. Low Res Boy, nice to see you. YH, nice to see you. Lord Aldison, nice to see you. All right, I've droned on long enough. So thanks for stopping by, everyone. If I missed any of you, I'll get you in the next stream. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.